A quick one about the female palazzo trouser that has elastic in front and rope all around. So run the elastic and rope as well. So the tutorial is this video. So I want to make it snappy. So the first thing you will do is to fix this pocket. Now this pocket is very easy to fix. I have made several videos on this initially on how to fix front pocket. So you can make do to watch the videos, or I can still drop the link the description box of this video. So once you have fixed the both pockets just as I've done, then you join the crotch point just in this form. So this is how you join the crotch point with 1/2 inch. So join the crotch point. So it's advisable that you double thread here so that it doesn't tear off easily. So after you have done this one, then the next you will do now is to fix your dart at the back panel. So right, I have fixed my dart. So the dart placement was fixed at the center of this back panel, and then the dart depth is 4 inches deep by width of 1/2 inch at the base here. So after you have fixed your dart on both panels of the back panel, just this way, then the next you will do now is to fix the back patch pocket. So the patch pocket I have, it's going to be a bit smaller than the regular. So I'm using black fabric to do the patch pocket. So the measurement I have for the patch pocket here is 6.5 width by depth of 7.5. So you stitch it down round all this way and then prepare the cover as well and fix. So I will do this and show you the results. Right, so here we have fixed the pockets and the cover. Right, so this is what I will do at the two back panels. So the covers, look at how neatly it was sewn. So here, after you have done this, now the next you will do, bear in mind that this pocket was fixed at the center of this dart, right? Just the same way the dart ended, you fix the pocket and then fix the cover on top. Then I will do this on the second part and then show you the coupling. Now, the reason I am not showing the whole process is because of time, so that you don't get bored. The major thing on this outfit will be on the waist elastic and the rope. So you see how it will be fixed. The regular sewing processes are the same, or it is the same rather, with every other trouser you have sewn. Okay, so after you have sewn the pocket on the both sides, you now start joining the sides. So where your joining must be 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, depends on the inch you want to use in joining, but I would suggest you use 1/2 inch. So here you stitch the sides all through. So after you join the both sides, then I will come back and show you what to do next. All right, so after you must have joined the pocket on the sides, now the next you will do now is to lock your back waistline with just 1/2 inch. Lock here all through, lock it twice so that it doesn't tear from the back panel. So after you lock, then you will start preparing your waistband for fixing. But before you lock this and prepare your waistband, make sure you must have fixed the side combat pocket, so which I will fix right now. So the measurement for the side combat pocket is 4 inches below. From the back pocket here, 4 inches down, you fix your pockets. From here, 4 to 5 inches down, you fix your side pocket, and this must be done before you lock the back waistline and the inner leg or inner seam of the trouser. So I will do this and then I'll come back to show you the results. Right, so here we want to create the hole for the rope to come out. Bear in mind there are two ways you can create this rope: the hook by buttonhole or eyelet. But I'm using this method, which I stitch the band and leave a small space here. So before you stitch the band and leave a small space, you must have as well know the center of this band, right? So this line must be at the center of your folding, right? So I will iron this and come back. But once you iron the band, then what you do here is you stitch this band down by the 1 inch or 3/4 inch. Now bear in mind that this band measurement is 5 inches, as this way, 5 inches, right? Then you stitch it down. You sew it down. Then when you get to the midpoint of that second band, you give like 3/4 inch opening for the rope to come out from there, right? So stitch the rest down. So once you have sewn that in this form, what you do now is you cut out this rope that you skipped. You cut it out just this way, and then automatically you have a hole here where the rope will pass from. Then you need to open it up this way and then lock it down. So the reason to lock it down is to make sure that when passing the rope, it doesn't obstruct. You get obstruct the rope passing through it. So you lock it down right round. So just sew it down. Sew it down this way. Sew it all through this way. So now you have gotten your opening. Bear in mind that this rope, I wanted it to have a one as a center opening here. So if you want to have this on both sides, you can create this, right? So this is the rope, the hole for the rope to come out from, which is very okay. Once your finger enter, the rope can pass through. Then the next you will do here now is to determine the exact width of the band. So here I will place this way, and then by that time you must have locked your waist circumference of your Ankara. You must have locked the waist point of your Ankara. So once the waist point has been locked, then you use your Ankara waistline, place in this form, and get exact size of your Ankara, and then give half an inch extra you will use to lock. So you will stitch down from that half an inch. So once you mark that, you stitch down from that half an inch just this way. So this here becomes your jointed line, you see ba? So here becomes your jointed line. Then you cut out the excesses. So right, so this is what we have. So here is now my jointed line. This is how the band will now be. So this is the front, this is the back. So now once you have gotten to this point, then you bring your elastic. So we are going to measure the width or the length of this with an extra like 4 or 5 inches, so that it doesn't get too strong while stretching, right? So you measure half of this, maybe 1/4 of this width, then cut something of this nature. You get So now this will now be enough. When you join together, it will be enough to stretch all through this whole point without much stress. And then while joining your elastic, don't join this way. It's wrong to sew it down this way. You have to flatten it and lap it half an inch on top of each other, just like this. So once you flatten it and lap it half an inch on top of each other, then you sew it down. You sew from here, then make a block sewing so that it gets strong. So make a block sewing this way, and then still make an X sewing. The reason for this is so that the elastic will not pull off or cut out from the inside. So make an X sewing. This X sewing will help to fortify that grip there. So once you are done with this, then you cut your threads. You cut your threads just like this. You cut your threads. So once the threads, you're done cutting the threads, cut off everything, and then this is your elastic now, right? This is how it will come out. Then make a notch. Make this place, make the joining to be at the center. Just this way, or I can still not make it to be at the center, however. But just know that you will make a notch at 4 edges, either up or down. Make a notch at 4 edges. One here, right? Then hold at the center. Match the 2 notches together this way, right? Then make another notch again here. notch here, and then notch here. This is very important. So this notching I'm doing now is very important. So notch here. Then do the same thing on the fabric. Fold it to come down in this form, this way. Just get the midpoint. It comes out in this form, just this way. Then once you have gotten the center, you have to make a notch again. Hold it firmly. Then you make a notch here. Make a notch here. You also make a notch here. And then fold again, get the midpoint. That the middle now will be here. So hold it together this way. Make a notch here. And then make a notch at the other end as well. So carefully follow this process and your elastic and rope game will be lit. So make a notch here as well. So these notches are very essential. So now look at what we're going to do now. After you have made a notch on those areas, then bring the elastic. You can start from the joining here, just this way. Then you have it coming out in this form. Then place it at the notch point, just this way, and then you cover the fabric. You cover this point. You cover this point. Make sure that it's at the notch point, please. Very important. At the notch point. Then you cover this very well, and then make a stitch across this way. Make a stitch across this way. Now this stitch is going to hold this elastic this way, right? So you also move to the next notch. Now you are going to drag this elastic to meet the notch in here. Please be observant. It will meet the notch in here, right? So once you meet the notch in here, hold the fabric together as well, and then make sure it's positioned at that same notch point. Then you also make a stitch across this way. So this stitching you are making now is part of the secret of this elastic. So make a stitch here as well. So hold it down, make a stitch here as well. So you make stitch across the 4 notches. Those 4 notches must correspond, right? So push this one, push it as well, drag it to meet this other notch as well. Remember, there are 4 notches. So close here, and then you also make a stitch this way. So make a stitch this way. Make sure it's on the notch point. Very important. So make a stitch this way. So now, I know why I'm taking my time to show you this. This is very essential. Most of you don't know how to use elastic with rope. So this video will solve that problem today. So just watch the very end. And don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Then close here again. Make sure it's lapping. Close here again. And then you make a stitch. Hold it again together this way. And then you make a stitch. Make sure it's lapping here. And then you make a stitch down. So once you have gotten the 4 points, now the work is a whole lot easier, right? The job will be a whole lot easier. Now look at how it will look like. It will look like this. Now what you will do now, watch. what you will do, start from that center where the rope is coming out from. Then place your machine at that point where that hole, that opening ended, that opening, right? Now start from there and make a stitch across. Then make sure that your hands will be straight enough. So you would now drag this. Now the dragging will not be intermediately, like it will no longer be the whole of the band. So drag from one stitching to the other, right? From one knot to the other. So when you drag here, here will lap. You get? So don't bother about the rest. Just drag from one notching point to the other. So once you have gotten this notch point, then make sure it's being held firmly this way, and then you stitch, and your hand must be as straight as possible. You see that? So you stitch. So make sure that there's nothing holding your machine backwards. So drag from one notch point to the other. So once you have gotten this trick, you will be a master in fixing elastic and rope. So once you get to the next notch, then you drag again. You see that? You see how smooth and simple it seems to be. So elastic should not be giving you nightmare henceforth. You cannot know my channel and you don't know how to use elastic. That's bad now. So if you are a first-time viewer, please give me a thumbs up, drop a heart emoji, and tell me where you're watching from, so that I will know people that I'm reaching out to. So just drag from one stitch to the other. You see, but the work is now sweet. So carefully drag everything. Carefully, don't be in a haste. Don't be in a haste to finish and see the result. No, just follow the process first. Drag. There should be no squeeze or whatsoever. So drag, and make sure that the line is joining back to that first point you started from. You see that? So once you have gotten to this point, cut your thread, like I always say. Then do the second threading. Now this second threading is going to create a hole, a space where the rope will pass from. The threading should also end at that point where the opening ended. You get that opening you have here. So drag it again, drag very well, and then start from there and make your threading. So you drag, make sure it's relaxed. Drag very well, and then you make your second threading. So still focus on notch to notch, right? Still focus on notch to notch. Still focusing on notch to notch. So drag very well. Don't allow any squeeze. Anytime you feel any squeeze, you can lose the line you held the band across with, so that it will help you to lap. So this line can be loosed now. So make sure you carefully do this. You can lose this line now. I have loosed it, so I can now drag as long as I want, where I have the control of the machine. You see how you hold it. So you hold out and in. So drag it very well so that it will lap. Make sure there's no squeeze or whatsoever. So when you drag it all through to this point, you see, and make sure it's lapping at that point where the other one ended. Then look at how you have prepared this waistband now. So what you will do now is to carefully loose those lines that you use to hold the elastic to the band at those notch points. So you carefully lose those lines, because those lines will not allow the rope to pass. Don't forget to lose those lines. So carefully lose those lines, because those lines will not allow the elastic, the rope to pass if you don't lose them. So locate those same points and then you lose them, right? They are not hard to lose. So you lose the 4 of them. Right, lose so here, the 4 points. You must have lost those threads, then you bring a rope. then bring your picker, right? Then you can
So
just
right here,
remove the
after
head.
you
If
must
the head
have
finish fixing the band this way, so you match the center panel where the rope came out from to the center block this way. So start from there and stitch. So I will just show you a little clip of how to stitch it so that you don't make mistakes. Then you will make sure that it's lapping at that exact point. Then you drag a little bit and then you stitch. So take your time to do this, don't be in a haste. So you go right round, drag a little bit, and then you stitch. So after sewing it this way, I will go and weave and then come to top stitch. So try your best to make sure that everything is balanced while you are sewing, please, very important. So you drag, arrange and stitch. After sewing, you go and weave. The weaving will not be what you use to do the proper finishing, and then you now top stitch. So you go all the way this way. Then you tuck here in because of how it was placed, right? So you carefully go right round this whole area. You see that it's lapping. You see it's corresponding exact, no excesses, no squeeze or whatsoever. Look at it, right? So if you follow my process, you understand, you will be able to achieve this without much stress. So this is how you fix your elastic. Then the next you will see will be, I will go and weave, then come back to do the top stitching, right? Then that will be the end of the video. So make sure you end at that point where this place ended. So let's have a look at what we have sewn so far. See, you see, ba? Very perfect, very smooth, very neat. So I will go and weave here, and then I'll come back to top stitch. Let me go and weave and come back to show the results. So here I have weaved the band, and then it's now time for me to top stitch. So if you're top stitching, you must make sure that the weaving is facing down, like you top stitch on this Ankara part, right? I have weaved it. So if you're top stitch on this point, look at it, it must face down this way, and then you start from front. I usually use my machine foot to gauge the measurement of the top stitching so that it will be synchronized, so that it won't be too small or too big. So I'm using my machine footer as a gauge, you know, lapping the machine foot on the band point, and then make sure that I use my hand to push this stuff down, the weaved part down, and then top stitch right round that wet circumference. So this is how it's being done. So carefully, you do it gradually, right? Don't be in a haste, please. Do it gradually. Top stitch all around. You are going to drag the short, so remember, don't leave it to be squeezed. Drag it while you are top stitching so that it laps properly. So that it laps properly. So top stitch all right round. Top stitch all through this way. So this is how it's done. top stitch all through this way carefully. Go around the waist, go around the waist, and make sure that the line is corresponding with the one that you started with. And here we are done with our elastic. So I do hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So if you derive value from this tutorial, please don't forget to like this video. It's very important to like this video, comment, share, drop a heart emoji to tell me that you love what you have just learned. Look at how beautiful this is. You see, looks like a foreign made a foreign trouser. So this is how it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.